Good evening. Oh, helps if I turn off my mic. And if you were wondering, yes, that is me in the video scoring the Rocket League goal. Thank you for that compliment, Bethel University. Nice to see you tonight. Tonight we are doing a Ask Me Almost Anything. I want to make sure to keep it PG and try and, stay on topic with gaming and everything. Focus on community, answer your questions about the convention. Other conversations are great to have. We can probably offline some of them if you really want to have them. You're always welcome to reach out to our team. But tonight, I just want to give you an opportunity to ask me any questions you have about the convention, about the future of the convention, why I did it, how I did it, all that fun stuff. Just have a little bit of fun with the stream since we've had to do some mix mashing in our schedule. Next week, I'm really excited. I will be announcing our guests later on. We had already announced Stephen Robinson, Elkhart Elite, High School Esports, and also Bethel University, since we had to reschedule them to be sensitive to the national issues going on. We wanted to bring them in next week and talk about their program. So we're really excited to bring people together through gaming from all around, and so that's really where this started. While we get this started, I'm going to go ahead and launch up Rocket League. Also, if anyone wants to let me know how the balance is looking in terms of volume, I want to make sure music or anything's not too high. Turn that down. There we go. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a light warm-up. I'm just going to be messing around tonight, having some going into free play. This isn't by no means any effort to showcase my own ability. I'm just here to have fun and show you gamers come from all different locations, and different styles. So you got competitive gamers, you got casual gamers, you have social gamers, you have niche gamers, people that like to focus on one specific role. And that's what the convention is all about, bringing people together to find their group. Maybe they really enjoy role-playing games, or, they really like the stories behind games. I guess I can start with what got me into gaming, and just like many thousands of other people, not millions of other people, grew up with the consoles. I grew up on Nintendo, and the first game I actually remember is actually Mega Man. That's a really fun game. In my opinion, it was a platformer back then where you could upgrade your weapons and you had to strategize how you'd get around different opponents without falling off edges. So it was a combination of mechanical skill, ducking and dodging opponents, while also simultaneously eliminating some of them, as well as puzzles, trying to figure out how exactly to get around the map, even though it's only two-dimensional. And that's something that's really cool about games, is that you just have so many opportunities to do different things that you would never experience. Like, who would have imagined, here I am playing Rocket League, I used to play soccer, and who would have thought playing soccer with a car that has rocket thrusters? Who thought that was a good idea? Super acrobatic rocket-powered cars was the original on PlayStation. So I never got to play the original because I went from Nintendo all the way up through the Wii, and then I eventually caved in and got a 360 because 360's online platform existed, whereas Wii's online platform didn't even really exist. They eventually got one, but not really. Now Nintendo does have a platform. Some of my friends complain about it, but that's for another conversation. But yeah, so I got a 360. I got into some of the online platform, never got into PlayStation. Came across Rocket League in 2015, shortly after it got released. It was free on PlayStation, so my friends had it, and they hosted just a house party and had Rocket League tournament going on, and so I don't think I won it, but it was definitely fun, and it was a really cool tangent between my love of athletics, my competitive side, and my love for games. So that was really cool. So this warm-up, how I'm warming up, not exactly how I warm up every time, but this is how I get ready for my scrims and stuff like that. Just different ways to warm up. You know, when you play athletics, you spend a lot of time warming up, stretching out your muscles, and esports is just like that. You want to make sure you're flexible, you're ready to go. Bethel University pointing out they will have a Rocket League team in the competitive scene this year. So I'm really excited to talk with them next week more about what that's going to look like. So that's really exciting. New program here in the area. Definitely awesome. I'm super excited to see gaming and esports both grow in the area. We've had some really cool additions. South Bend just in general has been growing, and that's another point I really want to touch on is South Bend is a really awesome city. It has a really rich history between Notre Dame, Studebaker, not Connier, but another Modern Years up in Niles, their current business. But South Bend has had a rich history, and I suggest you look into it. But when Studebaker left, they really, just like a lot of other places that suffered due to the automotive industry really leaving, they lost, you know, almost 30 to 40,000 people out of their population. That's almost half of their population. And South Bend really suffered economically and socially because those things are tied together. If you study those things, you know a little bit about that. And I mean, even I'm sure lots of people even see the ties between economic and social. But all that to say that, you know, South Bend suffered, but now, after being called a dying city in the early 2000s, even maybe a dead city, South Bend has really brought itself back in thanks to people from all around the community, you know, government officials, but also businesses and just normal everyday citizens, you know, like you see the names of South Bend and you talk about, you know, obviously there's talk of Pete Buttigieg because he ran for president, there's talk of different government officials, but there's also, you know, pegs, people like Peg Dalton of Pegs, people like the Bethel University administration doing stuff for Mishawaka. It's not just South Bend, you know, there's lots of opportunities in this community to grow. You know, South Bend, or Mishawaka, excuse me, with the mall and Bethel University, spending a lot of money on their parks, which is really great all around for the community. And that's one thing I had wanted to bring in connection to this is talking about how parks relate to gaming. Kind of touching on, you know, back a few weeks ago when I interviewed Chris Hagstrom, how baseball relates to gaming. It's just another form of play, right? And you go to the park to play ultimate frisbee or even just do other relaxing activities like read a book. And it's just interesting to think about how those things stimulate the mind in different ways. Like obviously when you're reading, you're really focused on just the internal workings of the brain. You're thinking about, you know, what words mean and different things. But like right now, I'm trying to move my car, and I'm making my brain work in vastly different ways. I mean, I worked all day today, and I was thinking, you know, how do I converse with people? How do I make sales? How do I do business for my main job? And now I'm thinking, how do I move my car to get through these different rings? So it's just a different set of the brain, and it's really nice to give yourself a break. Hey Boots, how's it going? Boots is a fellow United Rogue member. United Rogue was set to be one of our panelists before the convention, and we had some other exciting things planned that hopefully once we get the first convention up and running, we'll do. Boots is also a local representative, so thanks Boots for stopping in and saying hi. I really appreciate everyone who's taking the time to support this. I wanted to launch this stream, not to like showcase myself or anything, but to showcase the attention to detail that our team is putting into this convention. Because while the business side of it right now is just me, there's people like Dan Wirt of Bethel University. There's lots of people helping me out on behind the scenes, and I can't wait to, eventually bring them in as part of an official team. But that's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So I want to shout out some people that I've been working with behind the scenes, like, obviously behind the scenes stuff with Tasty Peach stuff, and Brandon Reed of Cartoon Connect being the first guests of this stream. Just how open they were to when I reached out and said, hey, I want to do this thing in South Bend. I know y'all are from South Bend, and you guys are obviously successful at what you do, and you're building a really awesome community. So for them to welcome me, with open arms, was really special. Really showed a lot of character on their part. So I'm really thankful that there's people in the community, again, from business owners to government officials to just the regular old citizen to the regular old person who believed in the convention and still believes in the convention. I got a lot of awesome comments from the person, one of my former classmates who built the website. There's a lot that goes into this, so I'm really thankful to be surrounded by a lot of awesome people, and I want this to work for our community and for the people who believed in me and believed in themselves. How's it going, Up Down Left Eye? Another awesome creator. Up Down Left Eye is a comedic duo from California that I met through my personal channel. And I'm just really, it goes to highlight the awesome ability of gaming to connect people. I would have never met someone like Up Down Left Eye or even I Am Boots. I Am Boots is local, and while we have some mutual friends on Facebook, I may have never met them if it wasn't for the Rocket League community I am, and for Up Down Left Eye, Twitch community I was in for a while. And we share one little thing in common, and that just sparks a conversation. And conversations are really at the heart of what I'm looking to do with this convention. I want to bring people together, and our team wants to bring people together and help people really connect. That's the number one pillar. If you saw the opening video, is really that connection, because that's what being human is all about, is finding a connection to other people, finding a connection to your job, finding a connection to your hobby, digging deep and finding out what those things really mean to you. And what they mean to you comes through conversations with the people around you, right? Or the experiences, the next pillar that we have. The experiences, simply playing Rocket League is an experience, right? Playing it with someone else, though, like, this is one experience. I'm stimulating my mind, but and my mechanical abilities. But think about how you relate to other people through comms. Playing on a team really challenges me, because how do you stay positive when your team is losing? And so obviously, as a competitive person, that can be tough for me or other people. And how do you navigate that? So on that note, fun fact, I'm actually a captain. I don't know how I didn't make it through that. Oops, but alright. I'm actually a captain in the United Rogue League, and so that poses its own threats. But another example of how gaming gives people opportunities. So someone wanted to play competitively with a bunch of people, and so they started a league, and they said, hey, let's gather together, set some rules, and just get some people together and play. And so there's obviously a lot of thought behind that, and really takes a whole different skill set to not only to run a league, but just even to be a team member. Obviously takes a lot of thought. So what up, Andrew? Speaking of my Rocket League team, that's one of them. Insulting me with the weirdos. Calling me Kappa. How you doing tonight, Andrew? And again, another example of someone I would have never met with if it wasn't for gaming. And it's just awesome to be able to talk with people like Andrew and learn about their journey. Like, you don't know by looking at his name, but he's a cello player, and so that's just something cool. Gamers have so many different aspects to them. So glad to hear you're doing good, Andrew. appreciate you being here just like I appreciate everyone else. So soon enough, Ethel University, I'm going to guess that's Dan running the account tonight, playing cello in 5th grade. Do we have any other instruments in the chat? Any other musicians of any sort? So I was a little slower completing this tonight. I'm actually kind of glad I completed it. I got 9 minutes and 39 seconds. My second best time, considering I've only completed it. Second, upright bass, my apologies. And there is a difference. I couldn't tell you that, but Andrew, feel glad to educate our chat on the difference between a cello and an upright bass. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some casual matches. If someone wants to trombone, nice. I was in band up through middle school, and I played. What do we want to play? I guess I'll just play some. I'm going to turn chat off though, because you know how people are. Disabled. Okay. I played. You also played bass guitar. Nice. I played cornet / trumpet, but then I got braces, so it became a little more difficult to make the to posture the notes as I needed them to. And so I switched to clarinet because that was just easier. I could hit notes rather than worrying about my posture. And then I played percussion because my dad's he was a drummer. Fun fact, he got to play with the Rivieras. And he knows some pretty cool musicians that play out in New York, graduated with them. There's an update for Rocket League today, and it updated the boost pads in the demos, which is another interesting thing. Is games are always changing, and that's something really cool too, because you know you see different trends through. Oops, I didn't want to do that. You see different trends through games. You know, for instance, we had the Battle Royale trend when everyone wanted to play Battle Royale, and that obviously speaks to different styles. So there's just so many different styles of gamers, and I play Battle Royales, but my focus is Rocket League. But I play other games too, right? And so we can enjoy all these different aspects of games while, you know, really being passionate about one specific thing. And it's just really cool to have the ability to engage in so many different ways and have different experiences through that, in my opinion. Also, if you've never tried gaming while streaming or talking to somebody, I mean, you've probably had like a friend or a sibling or a parent interrupt you while playing games, right? And you know, like, oh, please stop talking to me, I'm trying to do the thing. And you know how difficult that is, and I have not played and streamed for a while, so this is not a showcase of skill. That was a pretty nifty little play there. So out of respect, I'm gonna try and air dribble. Guys, player's probably way better than me, but yeah, there you go, bud. The ball back. So if you didn't know, there's unwritten rules in video games, and if you're in a 1v1 in Rocket League and somebody's trying to freestyle, especially in a casual game, like this is a casual game, you respect them. Oh, I can't say nice shot because I turned off chat, but demos bumps. Oh yeah, interesting. And yeah, so games go through patches, and you know, it really takes an education to stay in the competitive scene. And so you wonder how people can put so many hours into a video game. Well, Rocket League is a really good example because just like sport, it requires a lot of hours to figure out the hand-eye coordination. I mean, look at me, I can't even air dribble as well as this other player. And I have 2,000 some hours in the game, which, to put that in perspective, I think is 91 days over 3 years, or like something like 2 hours a day or something over 3 or 5 years. I can't remember the math. But it's like people are like, well, people who play video games or this or that, and that's another goal of the convention, is to break the stereotypes, because it's just like, it's another hobby, it's another way to pass time. Like, I still have other responsibilities, and I, still work, I still do lots of other things, but I spend, maybe a little bit of free time every night trying to unwind and play some Rocket League. Meanwhile, the pros legitimately do put in about, 40 hours a week, trying to master their craft, because it truly is a craft. You have to. There's just so much to learn about games, about each game. League of Legends is a really good one where you have to think about what you have to learn to play well. 85 days is 2K hours. What are our favorite games in chat? What kind of games do you all enjoy playing most? Or what is your favorite game right now, maybe? I know Valorant is a Smash Bros. Ultimate. That's maybe a leak and some exciting news for tomorrow. I will be working on getting that exciting news ready after this stream. So, for anyone not familiar with the Rocket League scene, Ty Not Tyler is, or was, I think he was an RS contender. I don't recall if he was on a team, but I'm really curious, Dan, to ask you how that's going to look like next week. Because when I saw that you guys were doing that, I thought it was really cool. I'm just really curious what a team is going to look like for that specific game. Oh, I didn't look anywhere. They should make an educational analysis of the physics in Rocket League. And see, that's another thing too, like game development, like the people who made this game have to be extremely smart, because they have to think about things like physics and I mean, physics is the biggest one that comes to my mind. I kind of blanked because he just scored a goal on me there. But then the graphical element to keep everything the high quality that it is, that takes a lot of attention to detail. So there's a lot of knowledge that goes on behind these games. And creativity too, Creativity is definitely a skill that I think is not tapped into enough. And that video games gives us the opportunity to really tap into a little bit more. Because when I'm trying to score these goals, I'm trying to be creative with how can I get the ball around my opponent. 3v3, a lot of academic opportunities. For sure. I mean, with this, like Rocket League, there's not so much story mode to talk about, but like, I just talked about how you can talk about physics, how you can talk about graphics, how you can talk about, I mean, you could talk about mechanics, I guess, like literally what the components of a car or something like that. Obviously, it's still a bit different, but see what else we can queue for. Andrew saved his Rocket League, obviously, since he's on my team, or in my org. Splatoon 2. Yeah, I've watched you play that, Andrew. Splatoon 2 looks really fun. I'm curious if that might be something. I don't know if, is there like a truly competitive scene for that? Another thing, I was talking earlier about, different niches. I'm just gonna queue up for 3 and kind of goof around. If anyone wants to 1v1, feel free. Dan, if you want to try your hand, I'll go keyboard mouse for you. What is going on? Winner by forfeit, very nice. There is, but it's only, right, it's only for Nintendo. But back to the niche aspect of like gaming, to get into the competitive scene, again, you have to do a lot of research and knowledge. Like, I mean, you could just pick a team and follow them. Like, that's a starting point for sure. You know, just pick a team and follow them. But to get into the competitive scene, like, if I said C9, NRG, Team Liquid, you know, some people might not even have any idea what I'm talking about. And so you have to put a little bit of time into getting to know, you know, your surroundings if you want to get into esports. And it'll be definitely interesting to watch esports grow because it's honestly still in its infancy. And we're going to talk about esports specifically a little bit next week. Very nice flick. Team Rogue, yeah, that's another one. Oh, Cobra, you got signed by the Cayman? Congratulations. Nice to see you back in the United Rogue community. I mean, you were obviously still there, but nice to see you back in the team. Congratulations. Oh. I didn't calculate the physics right, darn it. Imagine saying that after every game, or after every shot. Oh. Trying to be goofy again. Thanks for stopping my bike, Cobra Kai. That was a really nice shot. Your favorite thing is calculated? Up, down, left, eye. We definitely need to play again because that was a lot of fun last time. And I would like to see how you guys improve. Tiffany says it. And yeah, I love Rocket League's quick chats. I just wanted to turn it off tonight. You can see mine. Like, what a play, no problem. Nice shot, great pass. I love that aspect of it. Because it shows you how you can, like, you know, simplify your chat a little bit, right? Your communications with your team. Because some people don't want to take the time, like some people don't have access to a voice chat. That's another thing too that's interesting about video games is accessibility options. And I would really like to dive into that more. I met someone who, his name is No Hands NZ. I believe that's his Twitch name. And he has, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's some condition. Something happened in his life where he's lost his hands and actually I believe his feet too. But you game with your hands typically. But he has accessories that allow him to still play, you know, competitive games that are typically seen as competitive, such as you know, Apex Legends or a first-person shooter like Escape from Tarkov. This person's really working on their freestyles. Whoopsie. Whoopsie again. I have no idea who the camel person is. 1v1. We can 1v1 Andrew. Oh. Easy save for him. Probably gotten worse. You know, it's crazy when it comes to competitive games. You know, people are spending so much time improving that it can feel like you get worse if you haven't touched a game in a while. And plus, like, I mean, there's muscle memory, but there's also, you know, that's why competitive gamers still spend the time warming up, because your muscles have to get used to those mechanics. Streamer who's paralyzed and he's so good. I mean, yeah, like, there are people who are probably way better than me. There was a gamer who reached out to us who is, I think, partially blind. And I also just recently read an article about someone who is a blind gamer. And so that's a really cool conversation to have about accessibility options in games. And honestly, I would let them speak on it. Like, I would reach out and find those streamers. And I really do hope to have someone speak at the convention about their experience with accessibility gaming, you know, whether it's something that helps them see a little bit better or maybe they're deaf hearing impaired, anything like that. Cool stuff. Yeah, I can definitely reach out to them again and see, you know, maybe I'll have them as a special guest sometime. Is our Ocarina of Time via trial and error? Oh wow, memorizing the audio. That's actually impressive. You know, that's really cool because that's something that we think is only possible in real life, but we're able to stretch our perception of what's possible through video games, you know? Obviously we know video games aren't real, but some people may have assumed that, oh, this person can't play video games. Well, it's amazing what people are able to do when they put their minds to it, you know? Or when they are given the resources, the tools to overcome and conquer. One 1v1s are not my forte, but that's alright. He's put his head next to his TV. Yeah, that is really impressive. Excuse me. Yeah, and that's another really cool thing about, I mean, beyond gaming, streaming and gaming are almost two different communities in themselves. Like, they're two different niche communities, right? Because you have people that are gamers and they just want to play games with their friends, and that goes back to, you know, having different interests. And my mic gets all echoey. I definitely could do to have an audio person on the team to help me figure some of that stuff out. That is an area I'm not an expert in. It might be because it's behind my second monitor. Yeah, I was just picking something up. Oh, I should probably leave the game so Andrew can create a lot, you know? But yeah, so the streaming... So the streaming community is also very interesting because there's different takes on it, right? Like, you have people who watch streamers because they want to watch the best people at the game to either enjoy the game the most or to learn from the best. So there's even different takes within that small niche. And then there's people who just want to watch to, you know, you all are here to watch and learn and listen and interact. And then there's even other communities, other communities who engage for a plethora of different reasons. Here you have Andrew making the name of the team Star Wars and Star Trek, and, you know, tying into something that's nostalgic, something that we just want to enjoy again. And for some people it's just a way to, you know, relieve stress. And while it's definitely good to have something, I'm really excited that I have at least two in Gamer Doc, who's going to be a panelist, and in Dr. Kimberly Warren, who's going to be a panelist. I had two doctors who were ready to talk about, you know, the various effects of, you know, the mind and even the physical on our gaming things. You know, we think when we think of gaming, you know, posture check and carpal tunnel. Those are, you know, obvious things. The eyesight is maybe a little bit less obvious, but might come to mind for some people. But there's so much more. There's the mental aspect. You know, how we engage mentally with games on all sorts of levels. Whether we, you know, the story game, we're thinking about stories and we're learning something, or Rocket League, or stimulating the mechanical impulses in our brain, or you know, in the competitive scene, there's so much more to think about too than just mechanics, because you have to keep your composure just like you would in any other, sport, whether it's baseball, soccer, what have you. Well, Andrew's out here scoring easy goals. I'm going to take this time to work on my mechanics. Oops. Example bad in terms there. And then there's also, you know, one thing I probably should have taken the time to explain earlier is, oh, there's different terms. Like I said, air dribbling, and some people may not have even known what I was referring to. I would imagine most people were able to kind of put it together, but I was about to say I caught the ball, and again, you know, you think that's kind of an obvious term. So like right there, I tried to catch it. It wasn't a very successful one, but there's different terms that go into gaming too, and so you have to expand your vocabulary, which again, you're stimulating the mind. Now, to go back to the streaming portion of it, you know, I was looking at Up Down Left Down's comment about the audio, and again, you know, there's a whole new skill set when it comes to gaming. Has its own skill set, but then streaming, you know, content creation and all that, that has another entirely different skill set that you need to learn to be successful. And you can define success for yourself, sure. But when people come to the channel, they expect a certain level of quality from the stream. And so if you have goals, then you're going to want to learn how to do those things better. Yeah, that's why we're only low champs, right, Andrew? That's not the only reason why, but I'm getting better at it. It's so much fun. Like, that's one thing that I really enjoy about Rocket League, is there are times when I can just feel myself getting better. Sorry. And that's a really cool feeling. Oops. I didn't mean to say that. Yeah, audio and lighting are definitely important. My lighting is actually good tonight for once. Well, I think when I've been doing the other streams, it's been good, but let's just say my lighting setup is not ideal. And so the fact that I have good lighting tonight is somewhat of a miracle. But yeah, then you have to think about like PC specs and stuff. You have to think about, I'm publicly speaking here without an audience in front of me. It's so much different speaking to someone or speaking with someone than it is. There's two different skill sets there, because there's public speaking when you have an audience, so when you see them, and then there's public speaking when you have no audience in front of you, but you're trying to present material that's useful or entertaining in some way. And so that's a whole different skill set. And there's so many different perspectives on it, again, because different people have different goals. So if you want to be a competitive streamer or gamer, then go look at what competitive streamers are doing. And that was one of the goals. That's the whole goal of conventions, right? We have various conventions. We have PAX convention. We have the Twitch cons. We have what is the one I'm thinking of? I'm forgetting right now. I mean, Gen Con is a gaming board gaming focused convention. I went to C2E2. There's so many different things. So many different ways you can do a convention, so many different ways you can game, and to be able to hear those stories and learn from those different perspectives gives you a really well-developed toolkit to be able to meet your own goals, whatever they may be. And so the goal of PwR South Bend was to kind of bring it to a local setting. So you go to TwitchCon out in California, and that's all fine and dandy, and you know, California is really cool. I haven't personally spent, I don't know if I've spent any time in California that I can recall, but definitely still a place you should visit. But anyway, you get the California perspective, and you meet people from all over. And again, that's great. You can stay connected through video games. But especially right now, you know, we're really missing that human connection. And so that was the whole goal of this, is to bring people together who are really local. You know, maybe meet some people from out of town and show some out of towners what our community is all about, but really show off what our community has to offer and bring people in from out of town to bring in some of that outside perspective, you know, because South Bend has some great things to offer, but so do people like Miranda Pings from Ohio, like Gamer Doc from DC, people from Michigan, people from New York that I was planning to bring in. Even Indianapolis, you know, Indianapolis is different than South Bend, so how can you learn what their life is like down in Indianapolis? What's different? Why is Indianapolis, you know, a population of 6,000 versus South Bend's, you know, 2,000? What's it like to live in a different size city? But no. That brings up another interesting point in the development arena, is that in gaming you're getting a whole new field of study, even because even in Rocket League there's a website called ballchasing.com, and it gives you the ability that Rocket League itself gives you the ability to save your replays and watch them, and people were doing that and using them to learn how to improve their playstyle visually. And ballchasing.com gives you the ability to analyze those replays a little bit visually, but even more so statistically. And so you can look at things like boost management. And so again, that's a whole new level of thinking. So there's really a lot when it comes to each individual game. Oh, they call that a fake. Andrew thought I was going to get up and hit it. Get down. Power. That was actually me not being very good at aerial, or both of us really not being the best at aerials, so that's alright. Oh. I was trying to slow dribble around me. That would be a whoops and a nice shot. I thought it was L. Oh. I was trying a new technique that I'm trying to learn there, but obviously have not even remotely mastered the wave dash kickoff. That's baseball. What this about Stream Studio? Wait, what? Oh, great pass there. Oh, Bethel University is going to have a stream studio for their team and their players. Again, they will be on next week, so we can take a deeper dive into it. Obviously, we won't be able to cover everything in just an hour, but we'll get a little bit of an insight into kind of Bethel University's goals with their esports program. Oh. Nice shot. That's another thing too, is that they're actually content creation like houses. I know some creators that banded together and got a house and dedicated their time to creating content. So there's just a plethora of opportunities when it comes to gaming, content creation. So cool. DreamHack had a streaming studio. Oh yeah, you guys got to participate in that. DreamHack's another organization that puts together events, right? And so that's really cool. That there are just so many opportunities for us to take part in and learn from. And obviously, a lot of these conventions, that was their first, maybe their first one in SoCal, but these are big organizations, obviously, and obviously much bigger than our organization here. But we're just getting started, and a lot of the bigger organizations, they're going where they know the money is. But I believe in the South Bend community, and it's not about money, obvious for me. I guess maybe not obviously, but it's not about money for me. But there has to be enough to be able to, pay for the rent and reward the content creators who are guests, and pay for a handful of other things like advertising and all that. So while it's not about money, there has to be enough to fund it. And these other organizations know they can go to New York, go to SoCal, go to Dallas, Texas, and places like this, and make their money back. But some places aren't ready to trust these smaller communities with such a new industry. But I from conversations I've had with my friends and some community leaders, and looking at some data, I know that South Bend is definitely ready to take something like this on. Like South Bend is in need of, in my opinion, South Bend is in need of more opportunities for different people to connect, because we're starting to build this scene. Howard Park is coming in. We've got some new bars, we've got some new restaurants, but I mean, even the arcade bar, that's a step in diversifying. But oh, nice shot. But it's another bar, and so what about people who maybe don't drink? What about people who are more introverted? They don't want to go to a bar to play an arcade game. They want to have different opportunities to connect with gamers, and so there's plenty of opportunities in South Bend, and South Bend could do for. I'm sure South Bend will be glad to have more opportunities. And there are other cool opportunities already. Again, like Urban Adventure Games, which unfortunately had to postpone. There's obviously Notre Dame games, so there's plenty of cool stuff to do in South Bend. But to expand what our community offers, for me, it's about inviting gamers to celebrate themselves and really connect and enjoy their hometown, or enjoy their home area. Where I was trying to focus on where that ball was going there. Andrew's only beating me because I'm talking to you guys. That's not true at all. Oh. Trying to be fancy. Oh, was Andrew Brandon? Bad manners there. Trying to play me into the wall. Oh. And keep it up. I'm sad. Luckily there was still time on the clock. Alright chat, what do you think? What do you think? Can I bring it back with 8 seconds left? I'm really surprised, personally. I am pretty biased, I'll admit here, but I'm surprised that Rocket League hasn't taken off more as an esport, because to me it's the... Oh. No. Chat, no. Oh, dang it. GG. Alright, one more game, Andrew. The rubber match. But yeah, back to Rocket League as an esport. For me, it's the perfect combination between, what the traditional-minded person may think are real sports in soccer, with their desire for maybe Americanized desire for high-paced action and excitement, with gaming. People we know gaming, and now it's a lot more tangible to see, like, oh, we can talk about teams, we know the rules. There's a lot going on. Where like League of Legends, people may not know what's going on. It's a little bit slower. Like, there's some exciting action maybe every 5 minutes or so when there's a big team fight. But Rocket League, there's always action. There's always something going on. So That's also true. I would say it's still growing. I mean, looking at the data for it, it's still growing. But that is a really good point. You know, other esports have already kind of burned out, and that's why people are kind of scared to invest in something like CS:GO is, in my opinion, kind of burning out. And now Valorant is having, Riot Games having their take at that kind of first-person shooter, trying to bridge Overwatch and CS:GO, probably two most popular esports outside of League of Legends. But yeah, Rocket League really holding on. It has that loyal fan base still. You know, it hasn't done too much to betray its fan base. Even the move with Epic Games purchasing it wasn't enough to shake it. Might not have done everything it hoped to expand it, but yet, but the opportunity is still there. You know, it's still kind of young, kind of still in the developing stages, and having some level of consistency. You know, teams are the well-known teams are kind of sticking around. Ooh. But other teams or fringe teams are also able to make a shot at it. So people, so players want to play and sponsors want to sponsor because there's enough population on both sides of the consistent and the new to really keep it truly interesting. Thanks for the pass, Andrew. Yeah, so maybe this is a case where slow growth is better than explosive growth. Oops. 1v1 is a battle of mind. I was trying to play some mind game, but it didn't work out. Button. I don't know if you can see my focus space there. And then I broke it up to chat and gave him an open net, pretty much. That was a nice shot, though. At an esports company, that would be super cool. And that's another thing too, is obviously, you know, there's a lot of numbers thrown out there for esports in terms of what a big industry it is, but I think it seems to be at a point where there's a few major players, and there's still incentive for the little players, but it's really hard it's getting harder and harder to take a small portion of that pie, and that's one area where esports will need to improve, is to give some opportunities to the little guy. But that is kind of true in high school. Esports are creating opportunities, and Bethel college esports are creating opportunities for some of the smaller players to start getting a foot in the game. And then between, you know, broadcasting, because it's not just competitive esports, there's, you know, just casual esports too. And so I know one of the people that I had wanted to be a panelist, he is a broadcaster for RLCS, and as well as a personality for gaming. It's more of a gaming show, but they talk about esports on it. And so, just like you have Sports Center on ESPN for your traditional sports, you also have new opportunities arising as people look to get more informed about some of these opportunities. Well, good luck with that opportunity, Son. I hope it's a good one. rewarding for you. Oop. You ever play a game and you like want your character to move? So you like tilt your body thinking it will help. I got him! Definitely keep me posted on that. Opportunity. All the time. Well, this will be the last match of the night. I, again, really appreciate everyone who took the time to tune in. I'll definitely do this again in the future where we have kind of a just casual gaming session where people are invited to play and ask questions and have a good time. I'm really excited. I would love to use this Twitch channel for more opportunities like that because you know, again, it's not about money, it's about bringing people together. And so Twitch is a really easy opportunity to do that for free. And so like Twitch Chicago, that was put together for free because obviously Twitch wants to promote their brand and they have you know, through Twitch subscriptions and stuff, they have the infrastructure to be able to support that. Yeah, GG's Andrew. Andrew beat me tonight, but that's not usually the case, so I'm just kidding. But yeah, like, Twitch has the infrastructure through subscribers to do that, and you know, when you have these tangent opportunities to, you know, do subscriptions and do this or that, it empowers companies to have the flexibility to do more with their company and stuff like that. So I hope to create some free opportunities to bring people together. But when it comes to the convention, you know, obviously there has to be a ticket price to pay for the venue and do all those different things. So I'm really excited to bring this convention to South Bend eventually. I'm really excited for the announcement we have tomorrow. If you haven't already subscribed to the newsletter, I would encourage you to go to PwRUPSB.com and get subscribed to that newsletter because we're going to be making a really exciting announcement tomorrow. The announcement also will be on social media, but I really want to thank and show my appreciation for the people who have shown their loyalty by subscribing to the newsletter. So they'll be getting a unique opportunity. So definitely go sign up for that. Stay tuned for next week's stream with Bethel University, Dan Word of Bethel University, and Stephen Robinson, Jr. of Elkhart Elite. We'll be talking about esports. And that is all we have for tonight. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and hopefully we'll see you next week.